what I've learned about myself, the 7th of June, 2026. It is time to face my demons. Time to look into the darkness and confront my deepest fears. It is time to make friends with my shadow side and address the roots of the traumas that have made me the person that I am today. It is never easy to admit our faults. It is easy to lay the blame of our actions at someone else's feet. In doing so, we give away our power. But if we don't, we will always remain the same. I spent years trying to blame outside forces for the misery that has always followed me, only to realize that this had become the reason why I'd been stuck in the same cycle for far too long. This time is different. I'm equipped with the tools that I've never had before. The road will be long, one that never actually ends. Thinking that there's a destination is the first trap along this new path. The path of self-improvement is a never-ending path. If we ever think that we have arrived, that we have won the battle with our own selves, that will be the start of our inevitable downfall. We will always be fallible. The temptations are everywhere. Our old life will always be whispering in our ear to return to the familiar, trying to trip us up at every chance it gets. But we must resist. The old will disguise itself, tempting us at every turn. But why would we want to return to a life of misery when a life of possibilities is on the other side? Stay strong, Dylan. Your future self will thank you. A life of happiness awaits you if you just resist the temptations along the way. So one of the things that I've noticed about myself specifically, but I think it's just something that we all fall victim to time and time again. And that is thinking that we are right. Naturally, I think that's something that we will always think as our first thought. But then once that initial reaction is passed, it is important for us to be able to learn and be able to admit where we actually went wrong. Because otherwise, how are we meant to learn anything about ourselves and actually start the path of self-improvement? Before we can start any journey to building our new self, we have to take responsibility for the things that happen to us, whether it was directly caused by us or even if it was caused by outside factors. Because if we remain the victim, like I've been doing for pretty much my whole life up until very recently, no wonder we just keep repeating the same cycles of self-destruction that don't allow us to grow to become the person that we want to be. And I know most people are happy with their life and where they are, but I've not been happy with where I am in my life. I'm not happy with the ways that I react to things that are outside of my control. I have immense attachment to the outcomes and expectations that I've created in my own head, only to be broken down and completely lose hope whenever something happens that is outside my control. And that is something that is going to be a very long journey before I can ever say I'm at the point where I am able to become unattached from my expectations. And that's exactly why I have gone through my latest, not rock bottom, it definitely wasn't close to rock bottom, but it definitely felt like it was in the moment. And yeah, it's just a hard thing to kind of tackle and address. Um, like what I've also, now that I've started reading a new book, which is The Myth of Normal, I think, by Gabor Mate. I've started to understand to some degree. I still have a lot of way to go before I fully understand what he's trying to conceptualize in the book. But just how we have all become the person that we are at this current point by all of the traumas that we have gone through in our life. And those traumas, some of the traumas are things that we can remember that maybe happened later in life, but there are traumas that go back to even being in the womb and shortly after being born. A lot of the initial traumas that we have are ones where we were not even able to comprehend what the situation really was. And this is what I've been spending most of my time thinking about over the past few weeks, trying to identify what traumas I went through in the past to make me who I am today, and how I can begin to address those traumas and release the hurt that those created. Because right now I'm still holding on to a lot of those traumas, and to be able to become the person that I want to be, I have to be able to work through and release those traumas so that they no longer become that overarching story that controls my own personal narrative. But again, this is just the start. This journey is going to be a journey that I'm starting to embark on now, that is going to become the journey that I have to follow for the rest of my life. Because one thing I have noticed through my own experiences is that whenever you kind of take your foot off the gas pedal, whenever I've told myself I've done enough work and I'm finally a stronger person, just one little event or situation sends me spiraling straight back to where I was before I'd even started to address the traumas and start on my periods of intense internal reflection. And I am hoping that I will, not that I will get anywhere. I don't think it's ever possible to get to that final destination. But I am now committing myself to never allowing myself to regress back to a point where I am feeling so sorry for myself and feeling like such a victim of my past circumstances that it turns me into the person that I don't want to be and do things that could possibly harm other people, because I want to be a person that is able to do the right thing whenever I can, but most importantly, not create any harm that could potentially lead to traumas in someone else's life. And today I'm feeling a lot better than I have been over the past few days. I think that's the one thing with when you do start to feel discouraged, when you do start to fall back into some of the thought patterns of old, that is something that can happen at any time. Just because there's a few weeks where you might feel completely happy for no reason for an extended period of time, you can never really truly experience happiness and the highs without the lows. Because if you are only on a high forever, you'll never know that that high is actually a high because you have nothing to compare it to. So there will inevitably always be times where you do experience those lows. And I think there's a lot of, I don't know what word to use, there's a lot of value in being able to weather those down times, because when you are at a low, you can only go up from there, and you know that you will hit that high again. So again, every day I'm just learning more about myself. I'm able to reflect more internally without that same anger at those past events that have led to that have created traumas that have led me to becoming who I am today. But that is going to be, again, a lifelong journey, starting, well, I'd already started a couple of weeks ago, but every day is a new day. Every day is a day to work on myself and get closer to becoming the person that I believe that I am truly meant to be. So I'm, again, just really happy that I'm feeling happy today, or a lot happier than I was the past few days, because like I said, it can only be a high when you compare it to a low. So hopefully this is the start of me getting back to that state of happiness that I've briefly encountered over the past year, but that happiness was not continuous. It was just for very brief periods of time, but it was also gave me so much hope that I can actually be happy, because I thought I was just destined to have a life of misery. And what I've also realized is, as much as we can be addicted to things that um, give us pleasure, an addiction is anything that, well, we can become addicted to anything that becomes a source of dopamine. And feeling sorry for oneself and being stuck in that victim cycle can also be a source of dopamine, which means we can become addicted to our own misery, which I was 100% addicted to that misery and victim mentality for far too long. And the fact that I had been addicted to it, or was addicted to it, means that I could quite easily fall back into that. So that's why I say it is a daily, in a way, battle within myself to be able to see things in a more positive light, but then also releasing attachment from the expectations that had caused me to be feeling so let down in many past circumstances. So, thanks for watching. I hope that me being able to go deep into my own mind can help inspire someone else to do the same and take charge of their life and create the life that they truly believe that they are destined to live. So thanks for watching, and as always, see you again tomorrow. Yep.